A recent survey of beekeepers found the country may have lost 60% of its hives this winter, totaling over 1 million colonies lost. One expert called that level of loss unsustainable for the nation's food supply. On this Wired Wednesday, GV Wire reporter Edward Smith joins us now to share with us what a USDA commissioned investigative group said about what's behind the spike in bee mortality rates. Edward, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Carl.
So let's start off with, how does this level of loss compare to years past when it comes to this recent research?
Yeah, so a lot of researchers are comparing this to 2006, the last time when we had rates this high. Normally, a beekeeper, when they go and they check in on their boxes, they'll expect to find, 15% losses, and that's about healthy, to keep, so that they keep the genetic strain, strong. It's been 40% in recent years, but when they found, rates of 60%, they started getting alarming. I even heard reports of some beekeepers losing all of their hives. It's just something that happened this year specifically, and it's got beekeepers alarmed.
With that being said, are the researchers thinking of what may have been the cause of this die-off? Has there been any factors or one that stands out?
So the big thing is colony collapse. Now, that's a catch-all, kind of a generic term. It's when you open up your hive and you'll see everything's just abandoned. There aren't even dead bees around. You'll see, the honey there, you'll see the larva, you'll see the queen, but no worker bees. And they call it colony collapse disorder. Now, there's a lot of other factors that are going into it. That's what they're trying to find out. So they've experienced cold, dry winters, where, pesticides are being looked at. But I think the biggest thing that they're looking at is a little parasite called the varroa mite. And it'll latch onto bees and it'll get in there and it'll suck on bee blood, but worst of all, it brings in diseases to the different bees, and that's what they're really looking at. They've had this for a while, but it's been kind of a battle as it's kind of adapted to the treatments against it. The varroa mite has, and so that's what they're kind of looking at.
And while this is all happening, what is the impact going to be as far as the losses on our food supply with all this happening?
Yeah, so the USDA kind of recognized the impact on the food supply. That's what they're kind of most worried about, because right now bees are come from across the country into Fresno County right now. They're basically all here. I heard reports that we're short 500,000 beehives. We need about 2 million. So that's about a quarter of our beehives. So what this means, and they need, especially for almonds right now, almonds are getting pollinated, and farmers are telling me it's just been a scramble finding bees to make sure that that their trees get pollinated. Now, it's going to be hard to tell this early. We really won't know until June what that impact is, but it's got some farmers worried.
And I do want to finish my last question here being kind of a two-parter. In general, what could this mean for the future? And with that, are there any possible solutions that we can see?
Yeah, so one thing, even if this is just a blip, like a one-off bad year, it's still going to take beekeepers about 2 to 3 years to recover. But if this is going on and on, if this is going to be the new norm, just as it was after the 2006 when 40% became the norm, they're really going to have to find some. Now, we're coming out with trees, as we spoke with last week, about self-pollinating trees. That'll help. They're coming, there are some new bees that are more resistant to the varroa mite, but one company is suggesting monitoring, so that way you can have, you can keep track on your beehives, in the other parts of the year. I mean, when bees are hibernating, so you can kind of see what's going on, because it does help them. If you see, the beehive is they're running out of food, well, you can just go bring them food and help and sustain them through the winter. So but a lot remains to be seen, and they're going to be studying that for the coming months. Well,
we'll see what those results end up with. Edward Smith with GVWire.com. Thank you so much for joining us on this Wired Wednesday. Great day. We'll be right back.